Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more, make you overdose. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more, make you overdose. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more.
Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more, make you overdose. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more.
Hey guys, I'm Alastair from Trail and Kale, and this is my Hoka Speedgoat 6 review. Are they still to go? You're about to find out. So I know there's a lot of you out there who are just as excited as I am to get some thoughts and some tests on the Speedgoat 6 to see how they compare to the Speedgoat 5 from last year. Now anyone who's familiar with Trail and Kale or have been following the channel for a while, then you'll know I absolutely loved the Speedgoat 5. And it was so good, it earned itself an Editor's Choice Award. But not just that, it was my top trail running shoe pick for all of 2023. And it continued over to 2024, nothing came close to it. This was literally the best running shoe you could get. So, how is the Speedgoat 6? How does it compare? Well, let me tell you, it's very similar, but at the same time there are a few tweaks to it that make it a bit of a different goat, but with the same DNA as the Speedgoat 5. So, don't worry, the Speedgoat still lives on with this shoe. It's just a little bit different, and I will point out the differences between this one and the previous version, but also how it compares to some other trail running shoes right now. And I will finish off this video by letting you know if it's still worth buying. Let's start off by going over the key statistics then. So the Speedgoat 6 now costs $155, which is still very reasonable for this trail running shoe. Now an interesting note on sizing. They do feel more snug, and that's partly because of a new upper material, which is a textile woven upper, but it just hugs your feet more. There's an internal tongue gusseted chassis inside there which hugs your feet more as well. But they do feel a little bit smaller as well. So if you are on the top end of your sizing, or you like to wear larger than standard running socks, or thicker should I say, then you're probably going to want to size up a half size. This is unusual for Hoka. I always recommend going with the usual sizing. But these ones, interestingly, do feel a little bit more snug. The upper then, like I said, has been revised. So it's a textile woven upper now. Take a look at it. It does look a bit different. It's still very durable. There is a toe bumper here. So this section here is pretty solid. This bit here isn't. But this bit will protect your feet if you stub a rock or root, so I like that. Really nice. The tongue has been updated. It's plusher, so there is more cushioning on top of the foot. The length is still the same. That was a bit of an issue that I pointed out on the Speedgoat 5, but that's the same size. Really not an issue because they've added more padding to the top here, so the laces kind of fit really nicely over here, and it feels comfortable even though it's a short tongue. And the shape here, the V shape, means that it sits on the front of your shin and stays there during a run. There's also a loop in the tongue which helps keep it in place too. And like I said before, I'm going to overlay a photo because you can't see this right now, but there is a gusseted tongue on both sides on the inside of this. And that helps the upper wrap around the top of your foot and keep the tongue in place. The midsole is different too. So it is now using CMEVA foam, which is a brand new foam from Hoka. And the main difference is that it is more resilient. What does that mean in a midsole foam? Well, resilience means that it's going to stay more responsive or cushioned for longer. So it's a more durable foam, which should hopefully last us all a bit longer out on the trails. It gives us more miles out of the running shoes. So I'm all for that, but it's interesting because it has changed the feel of the midsole a little bit, which I'll go over in just a moment. The outsole is still using Vibram's Mega Grip with traction lugs. Huge fan of Vibram, especially in Mega Grip outsoles, which you can see here. They're still using the 5mm traction lug, which is basically means the lugs on the bottom will claw into the trails a lot deeper and give you more traction on uphill climbs, but also on steep descents as well. You're going to get much better traction than shallower lugs, for example. So they've kept that all the same, except for one thing. They've changed the formation of the lugs a little bit to optimize the traction even further, and it's inspired by the goat's hoof. So the shape of the foot underneath the goat's hoof, just to try and get more traction. It's a nice idea. Be interesting to see if it works out, because I am going to be coming down some of this steep stuff here. Doesn't really come out on camera, but that stuff is steep. So this is my favorite route for testing trail running shoes. It's about 15 kilometers long, goes around tons of climbing, about 300 meters of climbing is how it starts. Then I've got flat sections, and then I hammer it straight back down the same route. So I get to test it on all kinds of terrains, from slippery, wet rocks in this section because we're in a forested area and it stays damp in here. We've also got lots of dry leaves like this, which some trail running shoes just can't handle. The Goat has always been able to handle it, and that's why I absolutely love it for Northern California. But I also got roots, hard packed trails, mud as well. I've got it all on this route, so that's how I'm able to test trail running shoes so accurately. So I'm going to take you with me on this run just to give you a little idea of what goes into testing these trail running shoes at trailandkale.com. Just so you've got a little bit of appreciation and validation that, you know, we do go out there and we do actually run in these shoes and thrash them on the trails around here. So yeah, hopefully that validates our reviews a little bit in your eyes and makes these videos a little bit more enjoyable, knowing that you can actually rely on the insights that we provide you. There's a 5mm drop from heel to toe. That's the same as the previous Speedgoat 5. And that's a stack height of 40mm on the heel and 35 at the tip or the toe. And then finally, the Speedgoat 6 weighs 9.4 ounces, whereas the Speedgoat 5 weighed 9.7 ounces. I've had an awesome time so far. I've got nearly to the top of my 300-meter climb, fully tested under steep climbs and gradual climbs. Love them, absolutely love them. Feel very similar to the Speedgoat 5. The traction lug really helps me claw into the trails, get great traction even on some of the steepest terrain that I've got to run. One thing I will note on climbing, I don't feel like the breathability in this new woven upper is quite as good. I feel like my feet are getting a little bit warmer than they would in the Speedgoat 5. Not hugely, but seeing as I've run so many miles, hundreds and hundreds of miles in the Speedgoat 5, this is the sort of thing that I find very easy to notice. So yes, subtle changes in the upper in terms of temperature regulation within the shoe. But other than that, they climb really well. I've had the chance to really open up my legs on some flat sections. I'm overlaying the video now so that you can see, you can get great speed from these shoes on the flats. And I feel like they are quicker than the Speedgoat 5 in this scenario. They will be on the downhill too. And the reason for that is this new EVA foam in the midsole. And yeah, they just feel more responsive. So I feel like maybe because they're more resilient, there is less plush cushioning in there. Whether that's good or bad, that depends on you as a runner. I really liked how it felt before, but I don't really have any complaints with how it feels now. It's just slightly different. It's a faster shoe because of it, and it's going to be more durable. I'm going to take these on some ultras, so I will get a better idea of how they perform over, say, I don't know, 50 kilometers. That's my favorite kind of ultra distance. So I'll get an idea of how that midsole feels different because of that. That'll be interesting. So I will be reporting back. I'll be doing updates on the YouTube channel to share how they perform over time as well. So stick around, subscribe to our channel, and you'll get all the updates from me on this shoe later on. And now I'm going to finish my climb, take some pictures of these gorgeous shoes, and then I'm going to give them one hell of a downhill test on some steep terrain. I'm just going to open up, blast it, see how they perform. If you're enjoying this review, please give it a like I love it when you guys do that. It really helps our channel out. And subscribe to our channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. Summit bagged in the Speedgoat 6. Let's go test those downhills. Still the goat on the downhills. As you can see, I really opened it up, really gave these shoes something, and wow, feel very similar to the Speedgoat 5. Absolutely love them on the downhills too. Yeah, can't complain about that there. Well, it's time to bring this review to a close then. So I've gone over the key features of the Speedgoat 6, what those features actually mean on your trail run, how they help performance or hinder it for that matter, and also how the Speedgoat 6 compares to the version that came before the Speedgoat 5. Well, let's summarize this for you then. $155 for the Speedgoat 6. Is it worth it? Yes, absolutely. It's the next evolution from the Speedgoat 5. There are some changes. Like I said, the sizing, you might want to go up a half size now if you're familiar with the Speedgoat 5. The upper isn't quite as breathable, in my opinion. It's not a hugely hot day today and I'm noticing it a little bit. So if you do run in really hot environments, you might want to go with a thinner sock. The new midsole foam is more responsive now, so it's a slightly different feel to it. That response and new foam will bring longevity to your Speedgoat 6, so they will probably last longer. I am going to continue running in these shoes, so I will update you guys on how they perform once I get to the 100-mile mark and beyond as well. Other than that, these are brilliant trail running shoes. I'm still going to pick the Speedgoat on top of anything else right now. They are still my favorite trail running shoes. If you are looking for the perfect pair of trail running shoes for you, definitely follow this link over here. That will go to trailandkale.com and that will land you on my best trail running shoes roundup post. And that's essentially a buyer's guide that will help you find the best trail running shoes for you, because there are so many different types of trail running shoes built for different purposes, whether it's all-terrain, hybrid running shoes, ultra running shoes, or responsive shoes for running faster, shorter races, even race day shoes for ultra running. There's tons, but that post will help you find the perfect ones for you. The Speedgoat 6 is very much an all-terrain running shoe, and it's going to fit a lot of trail runners who just want that one running shoe to be able to tackle any kind of trail really over any distances. That's what the Speedgoat 6 is for. So if that sounds like you, then you can't go wrong with this trail running shoe in my opinion. It's a lot of fun, it's very fast, and it handles technical terrain excellently. The Vibrant Mega Grip is just awesome as always, and that's why so many trail running brands or running shoe brands are taking it up for their trail running shoes, because there really is no competition right now. Well, thanks for tuning in and watching this Speedgoat 6 review. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Peace.